The story begins in 2014 on the planet Niflheim. Mickey, 17, a worker clone, regains consciousness at the bottom of a ravine where he crashed during a reconnaissance mission. He is discovered by Tima, a pilot who descends there solely for the flamethrower Mickey left behind. He leaves the man to die, because the next day, the bioprinter will print a new clone with the next number. When the pilot leaves, Mickey remains waiting for an attack from local creatures that resemble giant slowpokes. They are called creepers in the English version and crawlers in the book. The plot then flashes back to show the daily life of a disposable. A new clone is born from the bioprinter, and a copy of the consciousness is uploaded into his body. Mickey recalls his very first death. At that time, he was sent to repair wiring in open space, although in reality, the scientists were only interested in finding out how quickly stellar radiation would kill a person. Mickey Barnes did not decide to join this program because he had a good life. On Earth, he and Tima owed money to gangsters who made it clear, with a chainsaw and the body of another debtor, what would happen if they didn't pay up. The guys didn't have any money, so they signed up for Kenneth Marshall's project to colonize Niflheim, Tima as a pilot and Mickey as a disposable worker. Mickey's body is scanned for future replication, and a copy of his consciousness is made and stored in a special brick repository. The final test is to shoot himself in the head, an act of trust in the system, confirming his willingness to go all the way. The journey takes place under a strict food rationing regime. Any excess of even a couple of calories is considered a crime. The head of the mission, Marshall, and his wife Ilfa also impose a ban on intimate relationships on board, as this is also considered a waste of energy. But Mickey meets security agent Nasha in the cafeteria and soon begins an affair with her, breaking the rules. Death becomes a familiar thing for Mickey even before he arrives on the planet. On Niflheim, he is allowed to breathe the air for the first time and quickly becomes infected with local viruses. The clone dies, and scientists use his blood to create a vaccine, which they test on him again. The bodies of the clones, like other organic waste, are dumped into a melting reactor. New bodies are created from the resulting material. Eventually, the scientists manage to develop a cure, and the scouts begin to explore the territory together with Mickey, the next in line. During one of the sorties, a female agent dies under the rubble, and soon Mickey himself falls into a crevice. Tima abandons him, and the creatures approach Mickey. He prepares for death, hoping only for a quick end, but the creatures drag him into a cave. His fear that they will feed him to their young is not justified. The creatures push him back onto the snowy surface. Mimicking their clicking sounds, Mickey escapes. Returning to the living quarters, he goes to wash away the fatigue of the day, but, falling into bed, he discovers another copy of himself, Mickey, 18. A mistake has been made. The 17th is alive, and the 18th has already been printed. Both realize that they have become multiples, simultaneous copies of one person, which is punishable by death under the law. Mickey, 17, tries to escape, knocking out the 18th with a well-aimed throw of a dumbbell. Waking up in a garbage cart, he recalls Nashi's words that each clone has its own personality. Mickey, 18, turns out to be much more cruel, with psychopathic tendencies and a determination that his predecessor lacked. He beats the 17th and almost throws him into the reactor, but Mickey, 17, offers to split their lives in half, alternating work shifts. This only provokes contempt from the more aggressive clone. Their fight is interrupted by the sudden appearance of Tim and his friend. The pilot sells the fuel obtained from Mickey's flamethrower, which is used as a drug. Mickey, 18, hiding and eavesdropping on the conversation, decides to kill Tim. He attacks and pushes him into the mine, but Nash and her colleague Zick unexpectedly appear. To get out of the situation, the 18th pulls Tim out, pretending to be a rescuer. Nash leaves with the guy, and the jealous Mickey, 17, follows them. At this moment, the marshal's assistant informs him that the leader has chosen him for a show dinner on camera to raise the morale of the colonists. Exhausted by hunger, Mickey greedily devours a steak in the marshal's office. They are joined by Agent Kai, the partner of the deceased girl. The marshal apologizes to Mickey for his rudeness and offers to pray for the soul of the deceased. But the prayer is interrupted by a bout of nausea. Mickey vomits right at the table. It turns out that they tested synthetic meat on him and then immediately administered an anesthetic to test a new drug. Kai takes him to her place and gives him herbal tea. Mickey remembers that his beloved Nash is now, in fact, with an imposter, Mickey 18, created just a few hours ago. He rushes home, where Nash quickly realizes what has happened. She marks the clones with their numbers and forces them to stop fighting. Their intimacy is interrupted by Kai, who arrives with stomach medicine. Soon, Mickey 18 learns about the incident at dinner and flies into a rage. He decides to kill Marshall using the service pistol left by Nash. During the presentation of a new commemorative stone delivered that afternoon, Mickey 18 aims at the leader. But when the laser cuts it open, a cavity is revealed inside, from which a monster bursts out. Panic ensues, and weapons fall from hands. The scientists hurriedly put on protective suits to capture the beast. Only Mickey 17's intervention saves the situation. He distracts the creature with an imitation sound and helps pack it into a plastic bag. But then a second creature jumps out of the stone and attacks the Marshal. The guards shoot it on the spot. The alpha creature senses the death of its kin and gathers the others to attack the base. The leader orders the arrest of both Mickey's and Nash, who was covering for them. In prison, Mickey confesses that the creatures once saved him in the gorge, and he didn't even thank them. On the way to the Marshal, it becomes clear that the entire population of crawlers has surrounded the base. Dorothy, the lab assistant who examined the captured baby, tells Mickey that his imitation of sounds helped her create a prototype translator. She claims that the creatures are intelligent and can speak. As proof, the baby demonstratively spits at Marshall. As punishment, he hangs the baby over the reactor, forcing Nash to hold the rope with his teeth. Marshall decides to get rid of the creepy crawlies. He plans to mine both Mickeys and send them into the crowd to blow them up. Dorothy gives the 17th prototype a translator as a parting gift. The clones reach Alpha and warn her that humans are going to destroy their species. In response, Alpha demonstrates their power. Special sounds can fry a human brain. To negotiate, she demands that the cub be returned and that one human be sacrificed for each one killed. Mickey returns to base and gestures to the camera that the child must be returned. However, the advisor convinces the Marshal to go out personally and make a speech in front of the cameras and then destroy the creatures from the air. The Marshal and his guards go out into the field. Meanwhile, Nash attacks Ilfa, demanding that the cub be released. When the Marshal's soldiers aim at the Alpha, the smaller creatures huddle together, creating interference. While Nash carries the larva to Mickey, Mickey 18 attacks the Marshal, beats him up, and activates the detonator, blowing them both up right in front of the others. 6 months pass. It is spring on Niflheim. The colonists have overthrown the old regime, and Nash has won the election. They decide to destroy the bioprinter and abandon the consumable system. They entrust the launch button to Mickey. His past and his number burn up in the flames. Now he is no longer the 17th or just another copy, but the one and only real Mickey Barnes. And so the story ends.